Good evening and thanks for wrapping up the work week with MTN. I'm Tim McGonigal. We begin in downtown Great Falls, where tonight more than 100 protesters gathered. They were speaking out against displays of discrimination and police brutality towards the black community. These protesters, unlike many we've seen across the nation, remained peaceful. This is the second Black Lives Matter protest to take place this week. Tonight's protest was geared towards helping protesters take action against discrimination in their community. After hearing speakers present at the Civic Center, protesters marched to the federal courthouse, where they displayed signs in favor of the Black Lives Matter movement. Both law enforcement and those protesting against tonight's cause were also present at the event. And it's important to keep in mind that while protests are protected under law, criminal acts while doing so are not. We caught up with Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter. He explained what is and isn't considered peaceful protesting.
The key thing is this: as long as you're protesting peacefully, you get to say what you want about those things. It's when you commit a crime, you throw a rock through a window, you commit assaultive behavior against another individual, or you destroy property. Now you are no longer a protester. You have now committed a criminal act, and you can and likely will be detained and arrested for that.
Well, Pastor Robert Lewis is just one of a number of pastors in Great Falls that wants to have a discussion about George Floyd's death, about police brutality towards black men, about race issues in Montana and around the country. MTN's Matt Holzapfel gives us a look at the Justice for Floyd protests through the eyes of an African-American man living in Montana.
Looking at what's going on and seeing what happened to him, that was palpable. That was hard to see, and that's why we're speaking out against it or saying something about it. Anytime I see somebody responding and saying enough is enough, regardless of color, I think that support, I think that stand, that's admirable and it's needed. Every voice should be heard on this. You have to see beyond color. One of the problems that I think is systemic is that we can't see beyond the appearance. And I think once we get past that, I think that'll go a long way into bringing some healing, bringing some unity. When we reduce ourselves to the level of violence, it kind of takes away from the core of what's being spoken, what's needed to be spoken, and that is, we want you to hear us, but we need to do it peacefully. For too long, enough has not been done. There's a whole lot of rhetoric, there's a whole lot of talking, but no action. I've been in Great Falls almost 12 years, and my interaction with the police has actually been good. I have not experienced any difficulty with them. As far as race relations in the community, I recognize that they exist. There have been some mild issues. We need real people to sit down and say, okay, let's look each other in the eye. Let's talk to each other and say, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to fix it. Let's work on that. And if that doesn't work, let's talk some more till we get to a point that does work. And I think when we get there, grace, right, and recognize that this is a very, very true and real issue, and people are speaking loudly. Listen to us, that's what we're saying.
Pastor Lewis and a number of other religious officials in Great Falls will be hosting the State of Race in America Forum on June 11th at 7 p.m. More information about that event can be found on our website. In national headlines, the city of Minneapolis agrees to ban the use of chokeholds by police following the death of George Floyd. The ban would also require police to report and intervene anytime they see an unauthorized use of force by another officer. If they don't, they could also face punishment. In court news, a Helena woman appeared via video in Justice Court today for allegedly stabbing a man in the chest after a physical argument. 26-year-old Nicole Rianne Woods has been charged with felony attempted deliberate homicide. Police responded to a domestic disturbance on Rodney Street last night around 6:20. Officers found a man with a knife wound just above the heart, which also had punctured a lung. Woods allegedly stabbed the man after he had slapped her. According to court documents, Woods told the police the The man punched her a few nights earlier and told him if he ever hit her again, she'd kill him. The bond was set at $25,000. A mental health evaluation was ordered. The man was sent to Great Falls via air ambulance and remains hospitalized with serious injuries. Well, thunderstorms are moving through the area. Some of us could see severe weather. Our Storm Tracker weather team is here to tell us more. Grant Garland joins us now. Grant, sounds like we could be in for a wet weekend.
That's exactly right. Some of us could see, Tim, up to an inch of rain in and around the Electric City alone. So definitely want to make sure that we are having that umbrella with us wherever we go. We are looking at a few thunderstorms in and around our viewing area, zooming in real close to around Havre, Fort Belknap, Hayes, and east of Big Sandy. We're seeing a massive showers and thunderstorms with a lot of lightning strikes. Also down towards the Capitol, looking at in our iCam, we're seeing a lot of lightning flashes too. Seeing Deer Lodge, Clancy, Winston getting in on some rain, and then also widening out for Nyhart, White Sulphur Springs, and Lewistown, all getting in on some action tonight. So heads up, we are looking at a rainy night. The good news is the severe weather should be moving out of our hair as we're seeing that lack of daytime heating. Temperature 68 degrees in Great Falls, 69 in Helena, 67 in Lewistown, and 72 in Fort Benton. Today's high was 76. The average set back though in 1969 when it was 92 degrees. Also the year that True Grit with John Wayne came out. Hey. Coming up though, I'll time out the thunderstorms expected to move into the area tomorrow. But for now, back to you, Tim.
Thanks, Grant. Well, President Trump is claiming victory over the economic crisis following an unexpectedly good jobs report. The unemployment rate dropped to a better than expected 13.3%. The president says he hopes this is a good prediction that the worst of the coronavirus pandemic and its economic impact is behind us. Well, as we finish the first week under phase 2 of our state's reopening, bars and restaurants are some of the first businesses to see the benefits. In tonight's Rebound, MTN's Andy Curtis talked with one Helena restaurant to hear what challenges they faced and how they're making the best of the situation.
This week, Montana entered phase 2 of our state's phased reopening plan. A relief to many businesses, especially our bars and restaurants.
It's feeling a little busier this week with our first week of phase 2.
Among the changes phase 2 brings is an increased capacity for restaurants and later operating hours. Obviously, more customers means more opportunities to bring employees back to work.
Most of our employees did come back to work. We don't quite need everybody yet because of the only being allowed to do 75% business. Therefore, you need about 75% of the staff.
Staffing at restaurants across the state has been tricky for that very reason. And for the servers and cooks who rely on packed houses, capping the number of customers has been a difficult part of reopening. But managers at the Brew House in Helena are trying to accommodate.
There have been a few people that really are scared of losing their unemployment, their extra stimulus, those kind of things. But I feel as if we've been able to accommodate that, maybe as a balance where they can make a little money from their paycheck and also receive their unemployment as well.
Restaurant staff are not the only ones who have had to adjust. It's meant a new dining experience for customers as well.
It takes more time, and I feel like our guests, our customers have been very patient when they know we have to set everything down and sanitize our hands.
Even with the social distancing and sanitation, customers are still coming out and keeping the community a community.
Just really thankful for the people that are coming back.
Reporting in Helena, Andy Curtis, MTN News.
Well, more restrictions on restaurants and bars were relaxed today as part of phase 2. Effective today, bars and restaurants can stay open as late as 12:30 a.m. Patrons can now sit at the bar as long as bar stools are spaced 6 feet apart and patrons are at least 6 feet from areas used to prepare or serve food and beverages. Standing or mingling at the bar or other areas is still prohibited, and community snack items like peanuts and pretzels are not allowed. Well, there has been another COVID-19 related death in the state. The death was reported by the Bighorn County Health Department, and it brings the total number of COVID-related deaths to 18. There are 540 confirmed cases in Montana, the latest in Gallatin County, which has seen a total of 163. 468 people have fully recovered from the virus. When we come back, love is being locked down, how some couples are using the Mighty Mo to prove their everlasting affection.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. At Lincoln's Government Day, Lewis and Clark County Sheriff Leo Dutton gave Senior Deputy Robert Rivera the office's Life-Saving Award. On February 29th, Rivera responded to a call where a man was choking and had no pulse. Rivera performed CPR while medical staff worked on removing the item the man was choking on. And though the call happened nearly 3 months ago due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was no award ceremony, which is why Rivera was a bit surprised to receive his well-deserved award this morning.
Kind of got a congratulations a couple government days ago, and I thought that was going to be it. So this was a huge surprise to me. I was very honored to have most of my wife's family here, to have my children here, my mother and my brothers and sisters, and who are first responders were here to all congratulate me. I was very blessed and honored.
Well, in Great Falls, a new trend for lovebirds has hit the Electric City. You can lock down your love by using padlocks. The idea is to take the lock and write you and your loved one's initials, then clip the lock into the bridge near the Milwaukee station and toss the key into the river as a sign of commitment to enduring love. We spoke with one couple who says even if you're single, you can still show your love for your community.
I say just grab a lock and jump in. I think there's a lot of different reasons people can put their lock on this bridge. I think as a representation of love for their spouse or for their significant other, or I mean, there was one gentleman that was with us that evening that is single, and he put a lock on here, and I think you can do it as a representation of love just for the city, just for the town that you're in.
Well, as the weather continues to get warmer and summer takes hold, Great Falls residents will soon be able to make a splash at the Electric City Water Park. The park opens next Friday, June 12th, and will operate from noon to 6 most days. All of the recreation areas will be open, but there will be COVID-19 restrictions. Locker rooms are closed, and customers are expected to come to the park already dressed in swimwear. There will be no lawn chairs or picnic tables available. Customers will be asked to sign their name and number to a form to help with contact tracing if needed. There will be restrooms available. Great Falls Park and Recreation Deputy Director Patty Reardon said the staff is working extra hard to keep the facility sanitized, and the park should provide some relief from being cooped up by coronavirus.
We have had a ton of calls wanting to know if we're going to open pools and when we're going to open pools. So I think the public is going to be really happy. It's been a tough spring for kids and families, and I think to finally have something to do is going to be a relief and a great new entertainment.
You can find more detailed information on the park's operations this summer on our website.
It's time to get up my floaties. How about that? I'm kidding, I don't need this. We are looking at a breezy night. East winds at 24 miles an hour in Lewistown, and we're going to even see 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts the next 24 hours. Stay tuned for my full forecast after this break. Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a pleasant evening. We are now getting into the weekend, but we're having to deal with a lot of thunder and also the potential for severe weather as we head into the next 24 to 36 hours. So let's go ahead and get right to it. We are looking at this this conglomerate of shower and thunderstorms from Fort Belknap all the way down to Hayes. A lot of lightning with this storm. Now, as it is moving, it has also been growing in size, which is kind of good news because thunderstorms, they like to be isolated. That way they can take they're very selfish, but whenever they get to this kind of size, they'll end up actually raining themselves out. So that's the good news there. Down towards the capital, we are looking at still some light to moderate showers, a few lightning strikes down towards Clancy as well as Winston. And we've been looking at a good lightning show on our webcam for you guys. Also, we're looking at this thunderstorm down towards south of Nyhart, out towards Stanford and Lewistown. And this guy has also kind of been growing in size, and it's been losing a lot of its luster. Now, we are talking about the potential for severe weather tomorrow. Unfortunately, it is going to be impacting folks in Hayes as well as Glasgow. And in the yellow, we're looking at the chance for scattered severe thunderstorms, whereas in the darker green for like Havre and Lewistown, looking at the chance for isolated severe thunderstorms. The problem with these storms tomorrow is that they're going to have a lot of energy. They're going to have a strong updraft, allowing for the hail to actually be able to grow in size. So instead of a quarter, now we're looking at the potential for golf ball sized hail. And that is again tomorrow. And the best chance to see that will be in and around the northeastern part of the state, with as well as lightning. And not only are we dealing with that on Saturday, we're also going to be looking at the potential for severe weather on Sunday. Now, we are going to be at least downgraded to a low chance for severe weather, but still, nonetheless, we're going to have to keep an eye out because we could see hail possible as well as damaging wind gusts. Now, why are we looking at the severe weather we are? It's multiple factors. First up, we have this warm front lifting the warm air. We got this low pressure and that trailing cold front. So we've got a lot of variables at play in our equation. As we head throughout the night, we are going to be looking at our low pressure starting to shift towards the east before it makes it down towards Lewistown, and then it starts to move up. Now, here's the thing I do not like. I do not like to see these breaks in the clouds by around 5 p.m. because that allows for daytime heating. You're going to be looking at a lot more intensified energy in these areas, these pockets that are open versus those that aren't open, that are over clouds. As we go throughout the night, we're going to be looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms becoming possibly severe right along this low pressure. And that's why I'm kind of like, I don't like that, especially with the pockets opening up, especially behind the low pressure. Havre, Great Falls, Lewistown, all getting in on the action with a lot of rain. As we go throughout, though, that tomorrow night into Saturday morning, that wraparound moisture, looking at some snow possible in the higher elevations, causing problems for those in around McDonald and Kings Hill Pass. So heads up, we are going to have to deal with a lot of different types of weather this coming weekend. The chance for rain, looking at over 0.9 inches of rain possible for the Electric City, down towards the Capitol, almost 8/10 of an inch of rain, up towards Havre as well, almost 8/10 of an inch of rain. And with our winds, we're going to be looking at 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts in Havre, Great Falls 10 to 20, 40 to 50 in Glasgow, Jordan, and Cutbank all throughout the night. So it is going to be a windy night along with rain. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, temperature 76 by Sunday, cooling down to 64. Monday, 57. Have that umbrella with you each and every day through Tuesday. And the same situation for Helena, Tim. We're looking at the chance for showers and thunderstorms for the next several days.
Thanks, Grant. Well, some rodeos won't be riding this summer, but one of the more popular 4th of July events promises to ride high. We'll explain after the break.
Powered by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on Montana's News Leader.
Welcome back. The COVID-19 pandemic shut down a number of sporting events across the world and here at home. And now, as sports return, rodeo fans in western Montana have something to get excited about. MTN's Sam Hoyle has more.
It's been a little while since the state of Montana has had the ability to watch rodeo competitors tempt fate in the rodeo ring, but on the 4th of July, they'll be able to do just that in Lincoln at the Lincoln NRA Rodeo. And though the rodeo is set to kick off in just under a month, Charla Lewinite, treasurer and secretary for the rodeo, said it was a slow process getting the approval.
Between the health department and also the insurance, we just waited till last minute because we couldn't really do anything because everything was closed. And I knew by the time we hit the second phase that I was like, we could probably keep going, go for it. But it was mainly waiting on the health department to see what they said and how I had to change things up at the rodeo grounds and how I have to set things up.
Lewinite did say that there will be safety protocols in place like sanitizing and social distancing that rodeo attendees and rodeo staff will have to abide by in accordance with Phase 2 of Governor Bullock's Opening the Big Sky plan. And though it is a little bit of extra work during this time to get a rodeo off the ground, Teresa Sorley, Executive Secretary for the Northern Rodeo Association, said that they greatly appreciate that all the effort that people are going to.
It is a little stressful, but that being said, it's just I think the neat thing is everybody's coming together and working together. I know we so appreciate what they're doing because there is a lot of extra and added work to doing it, but we have some awesome committees and they're determined to rodeo.
Lou and I did say on an average weekend at the Lincoln Rodeo, they can expect to draw about 1,000 people, but given the circumstances in the state and really across the world in the last handful of months, she expects the Lincoln Rodeo will draw pretty well.
We're going to get a good hit this year just because people are traveling and they want to get out of their house. They want to get away from everything. So I think it's going to be a pretty good one this year.
Reporting in Lincoln, Sam Hoyle, MTN Sports.
Well, Helena Public School leaders have been making the final preparations today for a weekend of graduation ceremonies impacted by COVID-19 and the spring weather. This morning, they were setting up chairs for graduates in Carroll College's Nelson Stadium, 10 feet apart for social distancing purposes. This afternoon, they held smaller ceremonies for the Project for Alternative Learning and the Access to Success program. Tomorrow morning, the full Helena and Capitol High graduating classes will have their ceremonies. Everyone will be wearing masks and there will be limited guests. The district also had to move up the ceremonies because of forecasted storms. Superintendent Tyler Reams says it's been a logistical challenge to put it all together, but it was worth making the effort to recognize these students.
A graduation in person, a graduation where they have all of their peers with them and their parents and families potentially in the audience, that's something that was really meaningful for us. And so I think that's part of the reason why we have worked so hard to get to this point. And regardless of what storms may come, we're going to be resilient and get this done for our seniors.
Congratulations to all the graduates, and we'll be back with the final look at weather right after this.
Today, the best chance to see some severe weather will be out towards Glasgow and Hayes with possible golf ball size hail. Temperature 76 degrees with a lot of showers and thunderstorms for us all. Make sure you have your umbrellas with you wherever you go and staying weather aware by downloading that free KRTV and KXLH app.
Comes in very handy. All right, well, Helena middle school teachers hosted a train parade for their students. Some teachers even rode bikes behind the train. That train parade began and circled around the Lazy Green. Many students and parents were in the area to see their teachers. About 40 teachers and staff gathered to see their students one more time before the summer kicks off. And for many 8th graders, this parade was the last time they'll see these teachers before moving on to high school. I always loved the last day of school, but this year it's been a lot different for some of these kids.
Well, and those kids are always going to be able to take these memories, especially with the train and everything. I mean, it's not it's not convenient, but those are special memories right there.
And it was a beautiful day.
It was.
All right. That's all the time we have. Join the weekend crew tomorrow. Have a great night.